Morriah.
Yes, Morriah. Oh, back-to-back repeating names from Survivor 42. We have another Mike. Now we have another Morriah. This is a very different Morriah, though. This Morriah is 28. She is a teacher and she is a performing arts instructor from Philadelphia. A number of Philly people on this season, Rob. The impact
Mm-hmm.
of Bryson Wen presents.
Um, yes, very much so.
Yeah, so, and listen, we'll see how much brotherly and sisterly love is shown. For what it's worth,
For
Morriah is coming
Morriah.
in. I mean, she is coming in with a lot of love. That is really her entire attitude to not only life, but to the game is like, she wants to come in as this big, bright, colorful, joyful personality that wants to leave everybody feeling good. She really feels like she can ingratiate herself socially because of that.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and bring in Morriah.
To start off, tell us about yourself. Give us your name, age, and occupation.
Yeah, my name is Morriah. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Philly and I'm a teacher and an artist.
Why are you here on Survivor?
I'm on Survivor to play, to win, and to change the game. I want to make Survivor history and leave with the title of Soul Survivor and to win the million.
What's your history with watching Survivor?
So I've been watching Survivor as long as I can remember from since when it came out. What was that, 2000s? I was maybe about 6, maybe 7 years old. And I grew up watching it with my mom. It was her favorite show. And we would watch it religiously with my sisters. We would like get on the couch, have the remote, the popcorn. The only person in my house who didn't watch it was my dad. We're working on that. He has no choice now. But we would watch it every single season. And so I just kind of grew up with it all the way back from like Rupert to Cochran to Christian to every generation of Survivor I've seen every season and every episode. So really big history with watching it.
Grace. Yeah, so a lot of talk with these people about like demarcating the eras of Survivor. Morriah
Mm-hmm.
defines them as generations. What do you think, Rob, as sort of like we're looking at the evolution chart of the fish to man? Do you think those are good representatives? Rupert to Christian, to Cochran to Christian?
I don't know if those would be sort of like the three like tent poles that I would say to mark off in Survivor history, but those are three of the bigger characters in the history of the show.
That's actually a really good point that I flagged as well. Is like perhaps I don't want to look too much into an answer here, but what are we doing here if we're not? Um, could this be a larger indicator of like how Morriah sees the people that she likes? Is that it's less about the Boston Robs, the Parvatys, the Sandras, which are often remarked as like three of the four people on the Survivor Mount
Mm-hmm.
Rushmore,
Yeah,
but more so the big
characters.
colorful again, and Morriah I think is aiming to be one of those as well. So maybe those are the people that she inadvertently kind of like blurted
Mm-hmm.
out she wants to see herself as.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting observation because I can, I might say, I think colorful is what she's going for.
Just a smidge. I mean, she talks a lot in her 1 minute video about, she says, colors are her fuel. She says her superpowers are kicking people with color and punching them with joy, which is surprisingly
Wow.
violent, but I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to Morriah.
Give me one Survivor winner and one non-winner who you identify with the most.
Okay, ooh, juicy question. Let
Oh,
me think
Mike.
about this. Let me think about this for a quick second. Um, I'm gonna go current for a non-winner who I think I identify with. I'm gonna juice it up a little bit, even though they're
juice.
still currently playing.
You like it, the juice?
I'm only labeling them a non-winner because they haven't won yet. So recently, I'm gonna say Marianne.
Loophole.
In hopes that she does win because she's one of my top picks to win, but she hasn't won yet, so I'll label her a non-winner. And the reason why is because of just the way she sees life and how excited she is about everything, and her outlook on living. Every little thing brings her joy, and she finds the joy in every day. And she kind of uses that as ammunition in her social game and to build relationships and connections with people. So I definitely find myself identifying with her. And then in terms of a winner, let's see. I'm going to take it back for this one. Let me go old school and think of some winners from the past. And I'd say this is going to be really different and interesting, but I'd say Kim. And the reason why is because in her season when she won, one of the reasons why she won is because she had such a strong social game and she was able to connect with every single player. Even at the end during her jury speech, everyone was just talking about how they were so captivated with her when they had conversations with her and how it was just so easy to trust her. And I think that I have that ability to connect with people on such a deep level that they find it's easy to trust me. And so while we're probably polar opposites in personality, because Kim is like so cool, calm, and collected and poised, and I'm like this powerhouse of energy and excitement, I think in terms of our ability to connect with people and make those authentic and genuine connections, I would relate to her.
Great. What's your favorite? So we got to talk about this Marianne comparison. First, I don't call it a loophole because at least in the moment she was not winning.
I mean, she really called her shot.
Yeah. Unless she was spoiled, perhaps. Maybe she was just indicating that she was trolling certain subreddits.
But you know, yeah, I don't know. If she was, then she's put her as a non-winner. So I don't think so.
But that being said, if there was ever a time for Morriah to do well on Survivor, it's Survivor 43. Because if she played in season 44 onwards, where they got to see the entirety of 42, immediately, right? They look at her, say, this is a Marianne type. We can't let her get to the end again. We have to vote her out. Here, where Marianne is still a relative unknown quantity, she's going to be able to do better. Unless there was someone who was like, well, I'm not going to see the end of 42. Let me just look up what happens. Oh, Marianne won. And then you walk out and you see sort of like a Marianne 2.0 in Morriah, then it's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, that'd be smart.
Yeah, but also, like, there are so many super fans out there that that also might be a reason why you end up getting targeted. Like, why did you spoil season 42 for me? I had my DVR backed up for when I was going to come back and watch it all, and now I can't even see it the entire way through.
Yeah. And I don't know necessarily, like, I think we'd have to see Morriah in action. You know, I think that what she was saying about Marianne was that she really loves Marianne's, joy and like love of the experience. So as a player, she may not necessarily be, super similar to Marianne. I think we have to like see how it ultimately goes.
Yeah, because I think that Marianne was able to possess, and this worked to her credit, right? That despite the really joyful mask and identity that she had the ability to make these like shrewd moves when she wanted to. Maybe that's a bit more of the Kim comparison as well. I know Morriah was talking a bit in her two comparisons about playing this very social game and how sociable she is. Social capital is great and all, but when your mattress has a bunch of money under it and you're not spending it on anything, then it's just like something that'll cause you back pain when you wake up in the morning. And so the big question would be, if Morriah is able to work up these relationships, can she actually utilize though to get what she wants done?
Okay, let's go back to Morriah.
What's your favorite moment in Survivor history?
Oh, there's so many. Just one. Let me think. Just one moment. Oh my God. Okay. Should I pick the first one that comes to my mind or think of another one? I'd say one of the top moments is Eric giving up his immunity necklace. Like, that's just such an iconic, hilarious. It was so, what's the word? It was just such an impossible thing to happen. The fact that woman's alliance, like, there's no power on earth, like the ability that women have to convince men to do things. And so the fact that they were able to just convince him to give up his immunity necklace when he was safe is, to me, it's still at the very top of the list. And I don't quite know if anything can beat that moment.
What's one life experience you feel has prepared you most for the game?
Yeah, I think the biggest life experience that has prepared me for this game has been losing my mom. It's a huge part of the reason why I'm playing, because it was one of her favorite shows. And in life, my mom always wanted to do three things. She wanted to be the best teacher she could be. She wanted to go to Hawaii, and she wanted to play Survivor. And so when my mom passed away, I went to Hawaii to scatter her ashes because I knew that's where she always wanted to go. The same year she passed away, I became a teacher and I never got a chance to tell her. And so this was kind of like the last thing on my bucket list that I need to check off. But losing a parent and especially losing a mom, that's kind of like, in my opinion, one of the most difficult losses you can ever go through. And Survivor is such a raw experience and a raw game where everything is taken away from you. All of your possessions that make you feel comfortable and make you feel warm and at home, those things are stripped away from you and you're kind of like on this bare island. And that's kind of how I felt when I lost my mom. I felt like everything was stripped away from me. And so I feel like if I can go through losing a parent and still come out resilient and persevering and find a way to still thrive in life with that biggest loss, then I can definitely go 26 days. What is it? 26 days now instead of 39. I can definitely go 26 days and come out winning.
Great.
Yeah. Well, that's an amazing story.
I mean, it's really incredible. It's this idea that obviously Morriah loves the show for her own reasons, otherwise she wouldn't be here, but like also coming on for a larger purpose as well, to be able to like do it on behalf of her late mother. I love this idea of like her doing all these things on her mom's bucket list that her mom herself wasn't able to accomplish, and this is one of them. It's also interesting in that, again, we're 2 for 2 right now on like Morriah's coming on, right? With sort of like dealing with a really tragic loss from within their family. We saw with Morriah on 42, unfortunately, it didn't end up working out so well. But I think in her case, she was still able to find closure. And hopefully this Morriah will be able to have the same thing no matter where she places.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to Morriah.
What excites you the most about the new era of Survivor?
I feel like in earlier seasons of Survivor, you had the ability to have that time to get to know people where you kind of were able to study how they would react to certain situations or how they would play. Like you had that time. Now you don't have that time. You have to kind of make a snap decision. And that makes the game so much more intriguing because sometimes you don't even know how you're going to play. And so I think that just adds a whole other element to it, which is why I'm happy I'm in Fiji, because I'm like, some people got South Africa, some people got Guatemala, the Australian outback. I get Fiji. So yeah. So the game is moving faster, but at least the elements aren't as tough.
What do you think?
Great. Shots fired at some of these other seasons.
Or I think actually fueling, loading up the weapons to to fire the shots from the alumni perspective, right? Because isn't everyone coming out of the work every season of like, they don't have it as hard as we had. It's 26 days. And now essentially Morriah is saying, yeah, that's true. We get to at least struggle in Fiji. You all have to be in the heat of Africa or in like the torrid rains of the Philippines.
Okay. All right. And also, it's just like 26 days. Like, that's not even like a real season.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah, Morriah is very much invoking, I think, the attitude that the internet had back in, like, September 2021?
Like, 26 days in Fiji? That's not a Survivor season. That's a honeymoon.
Yeah, exactly. That's a vacation. That's going on a cruise.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's close out Morriah.
The elements aren't as tough.
What do you think people will perceive you as?
I think people are going to perceive me a number of different ways, but I'd like to think that people would perceive me as someone who is colorful, joyful, and full of life, and always bringing the energy and the positivity, even when times get rough and when times get dark. Just being that person who can uplift and inspire. Initially, is that how they may think of me? Probably not. It might be, whoa, this girl is a lot. Or it might be, oh, wow, she's really naive. But I think as time passes on, people can begin to see that my personality is just a big part of me wanting to leave every space I enter more bright and more colorful than I found it. And I think that is going to inspire people.
Okay. Yeah, Morriah should be a lot of fun on the season. Should be a character. Let's see ultimately in terms of like how she's going to play the game. It's going to be very reliant on the social game. Mike, what else do you want to add from her bio?
Yeah, so I would admit that I think there's a lot of great personality stuff from Morriah in this interview, less so how she's going to play the game. If I might get a glimpse into it, in her bio, which past survivor will you play the game most like? James, don't bite the apple. Stay true to your alliance as best you can and stick it out to the end.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, as somebody who is sort of like alliance first, like I wonder if there might be some connection with Gabler, because I feel like that's kind of simpatico with how he might view the game.
Yeah, I think the two of them are very much kindred spirits in that way of like loyalty, alliances above all. I mean,
Team, yeah.
yeah, and being less so about like jumping ship. You know, Morriah is all about building morale, whether it be in the classroom or on the beach. It seems like Gabler again definitely wants to raise that camp spirit as well. So yeah, they might be kindred with each other as well. And I could see a similar position of like not necessarily being the one to lead deception, maybe getting involved in it just due by proxy to the people that she's involved with. But certainly, I think looking to build relationships above all. Rob, here's something that has her as one of your rooting interests. What is something we would never know from looking at you that I'm terrified of clowns?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. I like Morriah even more now.
But that is interesting considering that you would say like on paper, like, yeah, of course not. But I mean, look at her. I
Mm-hmm.
would be very surprised given the fact that clowns love to wear big flashing colors, unless this is this idea, right, of like, wear your fears. You know, if you can externalize it, you can eventually do away with it. And Morriah's just trying to manifest this away.
Yeah. Okay. Mike, anything else about Morriah?
Morriah, she has a really fun 1-minute video. I really encourage people to check it out when they find it on social media. She says that, you know, she will win the game of Survivor because as a middle school performing arts teacher, she essentially has to convince teenagers to sing and dance, which, listen, as a teenager that did sing and dance, valid. It's very,
Yeah.
very tough to do.
Yeah.
High School Musical.
Have you been on TikTok recently? I feel like that's all the kids are doing these days.
Well, nowadays, but High School Musical, you know, has the plot
Mhm.
the way it is for that particular reason. She
Yeah.
has a really fun way to end her video where she says, "Drop the 3, put up a picture of me." To the point where she describes like instead of it being Survivor 43, it's Survivor 4 picture of Morriah.
Survivor 4.
Drop the
Picture.
3, put up a
Drop
picture
the
of me.
3. Put up a picture of me. Boy, this is like the game within the game.
I mean, much more confusing.
I can't wrap my head around it.
So, okay, so the number 43, visualize it in your head. Now just
Yeah.
vamoose that 3.
Drop the 3.
And just put up a picture of Morriah because she is going to be this season. That you
It's
cannot say.
Survivor for Morriah.
I mean, it is for Morriah. That's for her mother as well, but it'll be for
Mhm.
Morriah by Morriah if she says anything about it.
Okay. All right. I'll have to take her word for it.
I mean, it's going to cause a lot of problems when it comes to like ranking lists because then you have to like get the GIF in there. Could we make like a Morriah emoji that you put in there next to the 4?
Yeah. I could see her as an emoji.
I mean, that's the thing. If we're talking about constantly evolving Survivor, we moved on. We're not titling the seasons. It's just numbers. Now we're substituting emojis in there. Then it'll just be like Survivor, sick face, elephant emoji, wind.
Okay. And that's a game within the game on its own.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
right.